Good morning, children. Today we are going to proceed ahead with the lesson Working of Institution. In the earlier class, we have read about the Parliament and its two houses, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Today we are going to take up the topic Political Executive. So, first we will understand what is the meaning of executive. Now, all day-to-day decisions of the government, they are taken by the executive in a democratic country. And in our country, there are two categories of executive. The first one is all those who are elected by the people for a specific period. They are called as political executive. Political leaders who take big decisions, they fall in this category of political executive. And the second category is the people are appointed on long term basis. They are called as permanent executive or civil services. Persons working in civil services are called as civil servants. Now they remain in the office even when the ruling party changes. And these civil servants, they help and assist the political executive in carrying out their day-to-day administration. So we have now two types of executive. One is political, that is for a fixed tenure, usually it is 5 years. And permanent executives, they work in the office till the age of retirement. Now we'll come to the point that out of both the executives, who is more powerful? So we see generally the civil servants are usually more educated and they have more expert knowledge of the subject. For example, we can take the advisors working in the finance ministry. They know more about economics than the finance minister. Even though the permanent executives are more knowledgeable and they are more educated, they are having less power as compared to the political executive. So let us understand the simple reason behind this. The reason is, in a democracy, the will of the people is supreme. The ministers, they are elected by the people and thus they are empowered to exercise the will of the people on their behalf. And they are also answerable to the people. And whereas when we see the permanent executive, they are not answerable to the people nor they have been elected by the people. As a result, the political executives are more powerful than the permanent executive. Now we come to the Prime Minister and Council of Minister. The Prime Minister is the most important political institution in the country, and the President appoints the leader of the majority party or the coalition of parties that commands a majority in the Lok Sabha as a Prime Minister. And Prime Minister does not have a fixed tenure. He continues in power so long as he remains the leader of the majority party or the coalition. Now, after the appointment of the Prime Minister, the President appoints other ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. Then the Council of Ministers is the official name for the body that includes all the ministers. There are three types of ministers, that is cabinet ministers, minister of state with independent charge, and minister of state. So let's understand the Council of Ministers. It consists, as I told you, a body of 60 to 80 ministers categorized under different headings. So cabinet ministers are usually the top level leaders of the ruling party, or we can say that cabinet is the inner ring of the Council of Ministers and it comprises of about 20 ministers. Then second category of minister is minister of state with independent charge, and they are usually in charge of smaller ministries. And the third one is minister of state. They are attached to and required to assist the cabinet ministers. The cabinet as a team, it is assisted by cabinet secretariat, and this includes many senior civil servants who try to coordinate the working of different ministries. Now in the next class we are going to read about the powers of the Prime Minister.